Let me tell you, if you don't feel like this at the end of the conference, you haven't participated enough. This conference makes you feel super. And thank you to everybody that puts it on. So, superheroes, how you doing? We got several awards to do it, and we got probably 5 minutes to do it in. But we're going to make sure we get you out as quickly as possible, but without doing a disservice to the award ceremony. So, lucky for you, I'm going to stop talking. All right, there are a couple of things we need to say. Please pay attention to the screen. There's a photo op at the conclusion of the ceremony for the award winners. If you are an award recipient, please join us at the podium after the ceremony. A note about the award. Looks different, doesn't it? This is new. The award is based on the Gilbert White Monument in Boulder, Colorado, outside of the National Hazard Center. The model for this was designed by Gilbert White's daughter, who is an artist. And now these are the awards that ASFPM is putting out. The National Awards and Selection Committee is responsible for reviewing nominations, developing criteria and procedures, and making recommendations. We want to thank you, Diane Brown, Chad Berginnis, Larry Larson, and Ingrid Dandler for being on the committee, and to the selection team for the state and local awards, Mike Klitsky, Greg Main, Molly O'Toole, and Mike Parker. This year's conference has been, well, pardon the pun, inundated with discussion of local flood events, and with Texas and Georgia being the most recent. It brings to mind the hailstorm we had when we went to Oklahoma, or the flooding that we had when we were in Louisville. And now downtown Atlanta has been brought to a standstill by the floodplain managers being here and the rain coming. You know what that means. Michigan, hitch up your floodwater waders. It's coming for you next. We're honored to have General Honoré back to recap 10 years of discussions of Hurricane Katrina. While we're all keenly aware of the Katrina anniversary, an anniversary that went by without being noted was that the state of Florida, 10 years ago, had 4 events in 45 days. Hurricanes Charlie, Francis, Ivan, and Jeannie all hit the Sunshine State. Next time you see one of your Florida members, say, "Oh, dude, sorry." 2014 also saw the 15th anniversary of Hurricane Floyd, the 25th anniversary of Hurricane Hugo, and 45 years since Hurricane Camille, all of those hitting the southeast. Now those happen to, and this is honest to goodness truth, those happen to almost exactly coincide with my birthday, my wedding, and the birth of my son. So for the southeast, I pledge to you not to have another child, another wedding, and another birthday. I refuse to be the problem. You are welcome. Coastal communities aren't the only ones dealing with historic events. I don't know if you heard a little snowstorm up in Boston, several hundred inches. They break the record this year. I heard this week from some people that know that there is still some snow in Boston that has not melted. That's still on the ground at this point in June. God love you, Beantown. I know how it feels. The last 10 pounds are the hardest. All right, how you liking the Twitter fall? You like the Twitter screens? You like doing the Twitters? The interwebs? The Googles? All right, are you using the right hashtag? Because God love me, I didn't use the right hashtag at first. What is it? It's hashtag ASFPM 2015. Let's see. Can I break the local record of number of people in a selfie, which I think David Key from North Carolina holds? Can we get y'all in a selfie? Ready? Everybody wave! Whee! Oh, my face isn't in it. Well, that's probably better anyway. All right. Speaking of media of the social kind, let's go into the first award, which is media of the outreach kind. The Media Outreach Award this year was presented to a public-private partnership for outreach. The nominee identified knowledge gaps in the local realtor market, specifically considering flood insurance and the community rating system. They worked with local real estate agents to create a workshop for local realtors where they shared information regarding elevation certificates, letters of map amendments, and recent flood insurance reform acts. Now, not only is it a public-private partnership, it's a multi-jurisdictional one as well. There's a city and a county involved with this partnership. The real estate agency and employees from the city and the county took part in instructing during the workshops. The nominees have held 9 workshops with 3 more planned this year and provided outreach to over 675 realtors, which in turn allowed thousands of potential homeowners to receive information on flood insurance and sound floodplain information. I forgot I'm supposed to be advancing the slides, man. All right, so the 2015, next on the agenda for this dynamic duo is creating a regional CRS user group to help provide support to CRS communities, both existing and potential. The 2015 Media Outreach Award recipients are Chatham County, Georgia, and the City of Savannah, Georgia. Accepting the awards are Michael Blakely from Chatham County and Tom McDonald from the City of Savannah. While they're getting a picture, we're going to go forward with the next award. Thank you so much. The Jack Schaefer Floodproofing Award. No one gets to be a CFM without learning a little bit about floodproofing. Often we talk about floodproofing in context of a single structure or a property, but this year's Schaefer Award goes to a project that involves nearly 600 acres under a master drainage plan. Flooding has been a problem in this mountain town for generations. In 1997, a record flood killed 5 people and caused nearly $150 million in damage. After the recovery efforts, this year's winner renovated damaged buildings and constructed flood walls, berms, and below-grade storm systems to provide improved flood protection on the campus. These structural solutions were integrated so well that our beloved Executive Director, Chad Berginnis, had a hard time telling which was designed for stormwater and floodplain management and which was the real thing. The projects don't stop at the built environment. This year's winner also uses non-structural flood mitigation measures, including education, planning, and design considerations. For efforts to make the campus safer for students, faculty, and staff alike, the John R. Schaefer Award for Excellence in Floodproofing for 2015 goes to Colorado State University at Fort Collins and Chris Carlson, formerly with Ayers Associates. Accepting on behalf of the winners is Brian Varela from the Colorado chapter. All right, the Larry Johnson Local Floodplain Manager of the Year. The title of this award is almost longer than your Twitter limit, but it doesn't diminish the importance. This is our local floodplain rockstar award. This is the Superman of the Year. With over 17,000 members in the ASFPM and over 36 state chapters, we are fortunate to have a wealth of good people to choose from. And many of you are deserving of recognition at the local, state, and national level. So please, let's go ahead and give ourselves a hand. This nominee has almost 25 years' experience in local floodplain management and permitting. From clients who walk in the door knowing nothing about floodplain management, and there are plenty of those, to working with developers to negotiate the best design possible, this person has provided a service to the community at many levels. In addition to the daily floodplain manager responsibilities, this year's nominee has gone above and beyond the city's development code to create multiple public outreach programs, including some that are personalized for special audiences. Now, if you've lived in a tourist town like I do, you know how hard it is to get local officials to agree to put high water marks out on the buildings. They think it's going to scare people away. But this floodplain manager did just that. Now tourists have landmarks to remind them that the historic areas are occasionally subject to inundation. The nominee also helped create a central call-in number for reporting flood issues after hours and works in close conjunction with media professionals. But that's only a small part of the skill set the nominee has. This nominee also has a stealth mode. He's been using it to help start a state FPM association, co-lead ASFPM committee, and build up our community of practice as a whole. Several people nominated this person for Local Floodplain Manager of the Year, and I'm going to let the 2 of them have their say. The committee co-chair says his nominee is a fantastic partner to work with, and I can say without hesitation the year would not be as productive without his engagement. And the local host team coordinator gushes that the nominee is a quiet, unsung hero who has been an inspiration to me personally and to those who work with him in the city of Savannah, Chatham County, and the state of Georgia. The 2015 Local Floodplain Manager of the Year is Tom McDonald, Floodplain Manager and Permitting Instructor, City of Savannah. Rock it! Thank y'all. The John Ivy. What? You're bringing it to me, right? The John Ivy Certification Excellence Award, there are more than 9,000 CFMs in ASFPM, in part due to folks who have won this award. This year's recipient of the John Ivy Certification and Excellence Award faced a hardship when their state building code changed, resulting in many communities doing away with their floodplain manager positions. The group initiated a major campaign for new members and efforts to encourage CFMs to maintain their certification. One way to support continuing education is to sponsor a CFM to attend the conferences, and this group has sponsored 50 of those. In addition, the group has hosted a flood risk symposium, multiple training workshops and seminars, and local conference where CFMs network and learn about local issues. This group continues to demonstrate floodplain management leadership. I'm sorry, Mr. Ivy, I didn't have your picture up there long enough. Everybody say hi to Mr. Ivy. That's not hi to Mr. Ivy. Everybody say hi to Mr. Ivy. Thank you. This group continues to demonstrate floodplain management leadership with the 36 state ASFPM chapters to mitigate flood risk, especially in coastal high hazard areas. And I can't think about this group without thinking about the iconic hurricane beverage, which has made it to Atlanta and awaits those who dare at tonight's event. The 2015 John Ivy Certification and Excellence Award goes to over 450 members of the Florida Floodplain Managers Association. Accepting the award, woo! Accepting the award on behalf of the FFMA is Executive Director Cece McKiernan. Awesome. Thank you so much. The James Lee Witt Local Award, there were no projects this year that met that criteria, but we want to remind you that this award, the board seeks to recognize outstanding programs or activities on the front lines of floodplain management, local programs where the rubber meets the road, and it is named for the past FEMA director, James Lee Witt, a key advocate for local mitigation programs. Now, the Tom Lee State Award. Tom Lee was a pioneer in state floodplain management programming who passed away too early at the age of 41. And all that he achieved it before he was 41. He's a guy to really aspire to. The award that bears his name celebrates state projects, plans, or programs that help elevate the profession at the state level. This year's recipient is a team effort, literally. They bring together representatives of federal and state governments, nonprofits, and academia to jointly reduce flood risks within the state. The team members collaborate to address issues and advance the implementation of multiple flood risk management projects. One example is how the team has led efforts examining fluvial erosion hazards. Utilizing detailed LiDAR mapping, field verification, and historical information, the team worked on the identification of areas that are susceptible to stream bank erosion, creation of regional maps detailing this information, and assistance with the development on ideas that can assist communities in placement of utilities outside of erosion-prone areas. This work has garnered interest from across the country and built on work that was done in neighboring states. The team has also worked with a local university on non-levee embankments along streams, utilized LiDAR data to assist in the development of flood inundation map libraries throughout the state, and worked with a local PBS affiliate to develop a documentary on the 1913 flood. Entitled When Every River Turned Against Us, Lessons from the Great 1913 Flood, this film received a regional Emmy Award in 2014. The Tom Lee State Award for State Programs, Plans, or Projects goes to the State of Indiana Silver Jackets Interagency Flood Risk Management Team. Accepting the award on their behalf are David Knipe and Greg Main, without whom the program would not be as successful. Greg Main was the state NFIP coordinator at the time. Hey, Greg, good to see you. All right, everybody situated? All right. The Chapter Award for Excellence is the next award. This award is presented for outstanding activity that is replicable by other chapters and associations. In other words, y'all can do it too. This state is impacted by multiple hazards in any given year. Winter storms, flooding, hail, tornadoes, drought, everything but coastal hazards. While they were nominated for a variety of activities, the activity that best met the award criteria involved the legislative activities relating to 22 bills with potential impacts to floodplain management in their state. They hold an annual legislative reception at the state capitol to build relationships with policymakers, as well as to perform outreach and education regarding floodplain management. In the last year, the chapter has been closely monitoring those 22 bills to keep policymakers, chapter members, and ASFPM informed about the beneficial and adverse impacts those bills have throughout the process. This chapter has also developed and incorporated training on the topics of oil and gas permitting, as well as the chapter's role in the legislative area for their members, focusing on this ongoing legislation that will affect floodplain managers statewide. But one of the coolest things about this award is that the state did not self-nominate themselves. The New Jersey chapter nominated this chapter for recognition, and when a state 1,400 miles across the country nominates you, you know you're doing something right. The Oklahoma Floodplain Managers Association is selected as the 2015 chapter award recipient based on the vast quantity of measurable and high replicable activities over the year. Accepting on their behalf is Mark Utley, Chair. Ooh, almost there. Y'all, we're going to be on time, kinda. All right, the Jerry Luthane Distinguished Service to Members Award. This year's nominee really needs no introduction, but I'm going to try. Dynamo, whirlwind, force of nature. These are words that come together to describe this year's winner. Since joining ASFPM, the nominee worked up through the volunteer ranks from committee to co-chair to board member. The applicant has worked countless hours promoting ASFPM programs, in particular the NAI program. The list of publications, documents, and committee this recipient has participated in is as long as your arm, or mine. I'm shorter than y'all. The nominee certainly has left her mark in floodplain management while reminding us all to be good neighbors. You have seen her zipping around the conference center helping ensure this year's conference is a success, and if you haven't met her yet, please allow me to introduce you to Terry Turner, Development Administrator for the City of Augusta, Georgia, and this year's recipient of the Luthane Award for Service to the Association. Squeak, 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 squeak. All right. Well, that's really cool that we have a Luthane winner in the house. But there's more. For the first time in ASFPM history, we have 2 Luthane winners. So we're going to talk about a second winner. This recipient is a charter member of their state floodplain association, serving as chair, floodplain committee chair, and other positions. The recipient is also was a longtime floodplain manager, starting in 1987 as the state floodplain coordinator. The recipient is a past ASFPM regional director, treasurer, vice chair, and has even been a program chair for their national conference. They have been to Washington, D.C. on ASFPM's behalf several times. They are highly respected by the colleagues in the region, demonstrating a knowledge and professional demeanor when dealing with the challenges of FEMA and politics. When not involved in floodplain management, he is a committed family man raising his 2 sons to embrace nature and always look for floodplain hazards as they fish and hunt. He has the distinct honor of harvesting one of the top 10 archery whitetails in his state and makes an awesome venison jerky and salsa, which he has donated to the ASFPM silent auction. This year's second recipient of the Luthane Service to Members Award is Greg Main of the great state of Indiana. Congratulations, Greg. The Meritorious Achievement Award honors career-long exceptional service to reduce flood loss in the nation. This year's award goes to Joanne Howard, who cannot be with us here today due to scheduling conflicts. What have I done wrong, Jason? Pointing at the back team? There you go, thank you. She was Federal Insurance Administrator from FEMA from 1998 through 2001 under Bill Clinton, where she was responsible for managing $523 billion of flood insurance in the NFIP. She currently chairs the Outreach Committee for the ASFPM Foundation and is president of H2O Partners, a firm consulting in flood insurance and many other topics. We will present the award to her at the September Forum, so please give her a hand. Honorary membership is granted to someone who has attained eminence in the field of flood hazard mitigation. This year's recipient has provided remarkable contributions to ASFPM, going all the way back to the beginning. He has served on the Mapping and Engineering Committee and helped start the Professional Development Committee. His efforts on the development and continued operation of the CFM program and exam have been invaluable. This year, the association is proud to present an honorary membership to Mr. John Ivey. Well, now you can say hello to Mr. Ivey in person. The final award for the afternoon is the Goddard White Award, which, if you were involved in the plenary yesterday, you saw the Goddard White Award being presented to Steve Stockton, Army Corps of Engineers, after his plenary session on Wednesday. The Goddard White Award was named for Jim Goddard and Dr. Gilbert White, two men whose work led on the elevation of floodplain management as a profession and as a national calling. Steve has been a leader in moving the Corps of Engineers from a century of focus on federal ownership of flood control to integrated flood risk management, with a focus on a shared partnership with state, local, tribal, and the private sector to manage flood risk. He long ago recognized the federal government could not afford, nor did it really have, the best tools to reduce flood risk, and that needed to come from collaborative relationships between and among all levels of government, with the federal government providing technical assistance and helping to build that state and local capacity. Please join me in giving a round of applause to Steve Stockton. That concludes the awards section.